We had previously navigated around a great portion of the Antarctic coastline, from Cape Adare to Franklin Island, to the McMurdo Dry Valleys, and the historic huts of Captain Scott and his men, to the rare and utterly inhospitable Peter I Island. Now we move on to our final leg of this adventure, the Antarctic Peninsula, arguably the most beautiful portion of the Great White South. We visited several places in this spectacular region, starting with the Lemaire Channel, an iceberg-filled corridor ringed by mountains and sea. In and around Lemaire, we found the Ukrainian research station, Vernadsky. Formerly a British station, Vernadsky is home to one of Antarctica's longest-running research programs and was critical in the discovery of damage to Earth's ozone layer. While some of the ship's passengers spent time at Vernadsky, especially the bar there, which famously distills its own vodka on site, others of us went out to explore the Argentine islands, namely Winter Island, home of the Wordie House, an old British outpost. This first taste of the peninsula was remarkable. Here, ice and rock, landscape and water, intertwined together into an otherworldly dance. A timeless dance that reveals a totally dynamic, restless geography. Although we could see the end of the expedition coming in several ways, the best was saved for last. One of the highlights of this final portion of the trip was our last helicopter tour in the air above Anford Bay, an area just off the Lemaire Channel. For a guy who isn't particularly enthusiastic about flying around in helicopters, I was certainly anxious about going up. However, the scenery really helped to ease my nerves. The Lemaire Channel area is a breathtaking and dramatic landscape. However, the views aren't the only dimension to this place. There's also the wildlife. And the Antarctic Peninsula has some of the highest concentrations of wildlife on the continent. Our next stop was a place called Danko Island, one such area of wildlife concentration. Here, we got to play around in a Gentoo penguin colony. Spend enough time around penguins, and you begin to get a sense of their personalities. Emperor penguins, for example, the largest penguin species, are graceful, calm, and measured. Gentoos, on the other hand, are excitable, curious, and even relatable. Did I mention that gentoos are curious? If you sat still for long enough, one would eventually come right up to you to investigate. It certainly happened to me. Gentoos typically nest together by the thousands. By the time we'd arrived on Danko Island, however, it was late summer. The remaining gentoos here were the late bloomers, the last of this colony's occupants. Regular adult penguin plumage is very important for staying dry and warm, so chicks have no choice but to hang around and wait for their feathers to grow. They can't very well go for a swim without protection against the frigid ocean temperatures, can they? There were also other creatures hanging around on Danko Island, like this Antarctic fur seal, a cantankerous creature we avoided. We carried on to explore the rest of the channel, taking in the scenery, filling our camera's memory cards, and trying not to think about how close to the end we all were. Sentimentality began to creep into our interactions. We started taking a lot more pictures of each other. And it was here that we also got a glimpse of Oceanwide's competition. It felt a bit surreal to see others from the outside world. We squeezed in as much as we could in those final days, including another zodiac tour of the ice, set against the waning evening hours of an Antarctic sunset. A front row seat to a twisted, grotesque icescape. The ice here continued to surprise us. There was never a dull form. Some of it seemingly even defied the law of gravity. Our next stop centered around Wilhelmina Bay. Silvery, quiet, ancient, a spectacular portion of the peninsula. This bay is also a known stomping ground for humpback whales, and we saw quite a few of those, too. Before long, it was time for our final landing, a chinstrap penguin colony on an island called Acho in the South Shetland Islands group. This was at the very tip of the Antarctic Peninsula, probably the greenest place we had seen in the whole region. The chinstraps we met on this truly windswept end of the earth were a hardy bunch. Not as excitable as gentoos, chinstrap penguins, so named because it looks like they're wearing a helmet with a strap under their chin, had their own unique personality. Maybe it was the icy wind ripping through the landscape, but these penguins seemed to display some kind of stoicism. They were hunkered down with each other against the weather. Occasionally, they called out in an excitable fashion, but mostly they were just in standby mode, waiting for adult plumage to fill in. Some chinstraps were more active than others. This one here is seen moving some rocks from pile A to pile B. I guess that's a fun game. Nevertheless, the chinstraps were an interesting bunch. I'm glad we got to meet them. We concluded our final Zodiac landing, went back to Ortelius, and began the long process of exchanging footage and saying our goodbyes to each other and the ship's crew. And we celebrated, too. It was a marvelous thing to have shared this experience with all these people. The observance of all the wildlife, and the ice, and the historic huts, and the research stations. To see such a unique, secluded part of the world like Antarctica is a special experience. No other place on the planet is like this, and sharing this experience with others creates a kind of bond, an Antarctic siblinghood, if you will. A global nation of Antarcticans. However, all good things must come to an end. We crossed the Drake Passage, said goodbye to our helicopter pilots. We were greeted by new kinds of birds and a welcoming committee made up of dolphins, and sailed into port in Ushuaia, Argentina, at the very bottom of South America. From there, everyone would part ways, heading either to home or off to more adventures around the world. And we saw trees, real live trees, for the first time in a month. That, in and of itself, was a revelation. After being immersed for so long in an alien world of ice and rock, our own world was hardly familiar.
Hello from Italy.
Groetjes uit Nederland.
This is Jan and Mick from Frederick, Maryland.
Hi, Mark Vogler here from Sonoma, California, California wine country.
Hello from Bath in the UK.
Hi, this is François Citeau from northeast of France.
Looking forward to see you in Belgium. In the rain!
Hello from Tunbridge Wells in the United Kingdom.
Just to say what a fantastic month we had travelling with everybody last year.
I really appreciated this experience in Antarctica.
My heart lives in Antarctica. I have polar fever in a big way.
If you look at our kitchen wall here, we have this up here so that we can think of you and the trip every single day.
Antarctica is the most beautiful place in the world, and this trip really proved that to us. We loved it.
This journey was brought to you by the lovely folks of St. Vincent's Orthopedics in Birmingham, Alabama. The physicians and staff of St. Vincent's Orthopedics are committed to excellence by providing the highest quality of orthopedic care possible. With their help, we managed to capture some truly amazing footage of the wildlife and landscapes of Antarctica. If you'd like to see more, then subscribe, turn on notifications, and sign up for our no-nonsense email list. If you'd like to support the channel, or at the very least see more videos at a faster rate, then consider doing so here, over on Patreon. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
And when you come, and you should come, most can't do it once. Yeah, people don't believe it, but I always say, yeah,